And what's going on? Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles podcast, the panel edition. Before we get started, I want to shout out E. Digger, who is at work slaving right now. I'm praying for my man. We get another job. He ain't happy. He ain't happy. All right. And so we have a guest in the building today in place of Mr. Digger. And if you guys are on BS3 Network, you guys, this is a familiar face. I ain't got no introduction to most of y'all, but this is Derek Smith. Don't get it confused. It's Derek Smith. All right. He is the pastor of Overcomers Empowerment Ministries. You guys already know that. You guys follow on BS3 Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Co-host of Man Talk Mondays on BS3 Network. He is the husband of Dr. Selena. Don't just call it Selena. It's Doctor. Doctor in front of that. All right. And my arrow don't want to do right today. Oh yeah. And he also has Teaching Through the Eyes of Trauma podcast on BS3. So he's got a couple of shows on there. If you guys don't check us out, man, you are missing a great thing. So before we get into it, Quinn, how was your week, brother?
Same old. Pain in my leg, dealing with white people at work.
Do that.
I said white people.
You said white people. Is that what you said?
No, I said white people.
Oh, okay.
People every time I get to work, I gotta ask why. Why people? Why?
Why people? Oh. I got
it. Annoying me. Yeah, and I mean, just and pay bills Friday.
Yeah,
that's my week in a nutshell.
They get us first. Mr. Derek, how was your week, sir?
My week was pretty good. No complaints here, man. Just regular usual week. Not a whole lot going on.
Not a lot going on. Well, while we're getting to it, so we didn't do our show last week, all right? So we didn't really get a chance to talk about the Buffalo shooting. I really want to get into that today. The Buffalo shooter, what's that dude? That boy's name. What was his name? Peyton?
No. He said, do not call him a boy at all because
don't call him a boy.
No,
he's a man.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
No matter what age we are, they call us a man from the jump.
Right.
15, 16, 17, 18. They label us a man because we're supposedly bigger and we look older, which we always look younger than these people because the shooter looked like he already been through life twice.
He got my nerve. All right. So before we get into discussion, I want to run a video of the 10 souls that were lost on that day.
Jr., 55, a retired Buffalo police officer who worked as a security guard at the store. Salter is being praised by city officials after they say he exchanged fire with the shooter, hitting him at least once. Pearl Young, 77, ran a food pantry in Buffalo's Central Park neighborhood for 25 years, according to local affiliate WGRZ. Her family says she was known as a mother, grandmother, and missionary who loved singing and dancing. Ruth Whitfield, 86. She stopped to get something to eat at the store while on the way back from visiting her husband in a nursing home, and was known to her son as a mother to the motherless, according to the AP. Roberta Drury, 32, went to the store to pick up some groceries to make dinner for her family. Drury moved to Buffalo after her brother underwent a bone marrow transplant for leukemia, according to WKBW. Celestine Cheney, 65, a cancer survivor and a grandmother of 6. Her son said she went to the supermarket to get strawberries to make shortcakes, a favorite food of hers, according to the New York Times. Catherine Massey, 72. Known as a beautiful soul, she wrote a letter to the Buffalo News last year calling for stronger federal gun control, according to the Washington Post. Andre McNeil, 53. The AP says McNeil was picking up a birthday cake to surprise his grandson. His cousin says he was a loving and caring guy who was always there for his family. Hayward Patterson, 67. A church deacon who would give shoppers rides home from Tops with their grocery bags, and who loved the community just as much as he loved the church, according to a local pastor. He was reportedly waiting for passengers outside Tops when he was killed, according to CNN. Geraldine Talley, 62, was shopping with her fiancé when she was killed. Her niece said she was the life of the party and an avid baker and mother of 2 who didn't meet a stranger. Margus D. Morrison, 52, was also a victim in the shooting. He lived in Buffalo and had 3 children, according to WKBW.
I don't even know how to start this thing.
I know how to start it off.
Go ahead.
First, I want to send my condolences out to those families and that community.
Yep.
Second off, we live in a country where people have interpreted this thing called the Second Amendment, something that was written in the 18th century, entirely wrong. The language does not relay into today's time. Actually, when you think about it, a document as old as the Constitution that is ambiguous as it is, cannot be, it's certain parts of it that cannot be relayed into today's time, which have been changed. Because in the Constitution, it still refers to us as Black people as 3/5 of a human. But this Second Amendment thing, people want to take it so literal. People had muskets then. You had to take the gun, load the ball into it, ram it down with the ramrod into the gunpowder, light the flint, and then shoot. Now we have semi-automatic and automatic weapons, and people think it's my right to have this gun. No. And why was an 18-year-old who had previously had to, the year before, made threats against his school, but said it was a joke? Like, come on, man. Like, why was he allowed to even buy a gun when New York has red flag laws? I'm befuddled, and don't let me get onto the political side of things.
We don't want to get that far.
Yeah, because I've had it up to here with people, especially in the state that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm to the point where I want to reach out and touch somebody.
Okay.
So, but it's just like I just don't understand why when it happens in our community and all for the gun like that, it's a problem. It's not a tragedy to certain parts of the country, but as soon as one of theirs do, and they want to bring up, what about Black on Black crime? No, somebody traveled 3 hours from their home, picked the most prominent Black area in this city. He told y'all what he did it for because he's afraid of replacement theory. Guess what, homeboy? If y'all would have just left Black people alone over 400 years ago, talk to your ancestors. They brought them over. They brought us over here.
Okay.
And then you want to talk about replacement theory? Your ancestor crossed the Atlantic Ocean and replaced the whole civilization of people that were already over here living.
Okay.
So I'm assuming replacement theory means if they wipe us out, then they can replace us with.
No, so a lot of white people, far right white people believe in the theory that the Democratic Party is trying to replace the electorate with Black people and foreigners. They're trying to replace white people with Black people and foreigners. So the whole far right white power Nazi KKK movement is now pitching. And the sad part is you got people in the United States Congress perpetuating this. You got the dude on Fox News, Tucker Carlson, perpetuating this. So of course it's getting in their heads because this is what they believe. They believe their life is so bad now because of things like affirmative action. They believe that they're poor is because Black people, Latinos, Asians, and everything are taken away from them. They shouldn't have to work. They shouldn't have to work hard to get anything.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to struggle.
Well, this
is their country.
Right. Well, they've been thinking that. I mean,
but now it's like they really trying to take it back into action. And that the orange one, number 45, the orange one has perpetuated it and got it into their heads that we are the enemy.
Now, one thing when I look at it, because you said, they think it's their country. It really kind of is, though. And I'll say this because of this. Because if anything were to ever go down between Blacks and whites in this country, who would the government back? Who would the government come to the rescue of? Would they try to really fairly officiate it down the line and say, y'all stop? Or would they run to the aid of one side or the other? Whose side would they run to? That tells you whose country it is.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: when I look at other foreigners that come into this country, the Asian community, Indian community, and things of that nature, because they understand that they're on foreign soil, this is foreign to them. They operate with a preservation within their community to where they support each other to a point to where they almost function isolated from what happens in this country. Now, they're still affected by the laws, but as far as their success, they're more insulated because of how they support each other. It's like we don't understand that we're on foreign soil and we operate as if this is ours when the country never agrees with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to bring on my man, Trayvon, real quick. Hey, what's up, Trayvon, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, yeah.
Good. So you know Derek, right?
Man, I'm sorry for my tardiness, man. I had some technical difficulties, but I was able to get on.
It's all good. My regular guys and hey, Dr. That's the wife. Yeah, all right. See that? Did I tell y'all, Doctor? Don't just call us. But I just call her Selena. It's Doctor. All right. So listen, I'm gonna flash this image because I want to get back to the shooting. Right? Now I saw this image right here. And I know it's fuzzy, and I do apologize for people that are watching visually. This man, like Quinn said earlier, drove 3 hours from Conklin to Buffalo, shot and killed. Was it 12 people? 10 of them were African Americans. Is that right?
Was it?
Yeah, I think
he shot and killed 12.
11 of the 13 were black. That were shot. 11 or 13 people were black.
And not only that, he streamed that thing on Twitch. Mm-hmm. Did I know that?
Yeah.
He streamed it on Twitch. Look.
And then put on Discord, invited certain people to Discord to read exactly what he was gonna do. Like this is I'm gonna tell y'all this from my perspective because I work with a lot of people. I work with a lot of white people. After this situation happened, that Monday I come into work. Oh Quinn, sorry, you okay, man? Please don't. Everybody trying to figure out. I work from home. I ain't got to come up. Y'all ain't got to see me face to face. So all they trying to placate me, like I'm gonna turn into some type of, you know how folks used to be like, I can't watch Roots because when I go to work, I'm gonna act the clown with the every time I see these white folks, I'm gonna be looking at them crazy. Bro, y'all can't see me. Y'all do nothing. I just chat with y'all. I ain't like everybody trying to handle me, but
Mhm.
The thing is, y'all need to be talking amongst yourselves about what's wrong in y'all's community. Don't be worried about me. Worry about what's wrong with y'all. And now they trying to find something psychological wrong with him. Ain't nothing psychological wrong with him. He just racist.
They're gonna try and find it. That's for sure. Mr. Tremont, when you first heard this story, what you think? What was it? What was your first thought?
Well, my first thought was damn, he was actually able to get arrested, because if it was us,
Body bag.
Yeah,
it would have been a whole different ballgame. In our apartment, screen without a police officer coming in and shooting us, thinking it was her apartment. So it's just like, the simple fact that he was just able to, first of all, to get arrested, and it wasn't a picture of him, on the ground, with a knee to his neck. It was just like, lackadaisical. So I guess that's my thing.
My thing was, I wonder what restaurant they took him to.
Right, right,
Good Dylan got Burger King. Mr. Derek,
right.
what was your
Tired of this narrative playing out time and time again. Tired of the excuses for guys who do things like this. Tired of people looking at our community and pegging us as these just evil people, when if you look at statistics, we're more of a danger to each other than we are in any other community.
facts?
You know what I'm saying? When you look at the real statistics behind it, we don't have a history of doing things like this. We don't have a history of pulling people out of their houses and hanging
Right.
people, and that's not our history. We've never done that type of thing. But
no time in history have we ever done that.
yeah, Black lives being expendable like this. And somebody said it. It said the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock news thing got way more airplay than this incident did. So it's like, okay, let's move on from this. No, we need to address this.
Right. And this young man had, this man had a 160-page manifesto about what he was
180.
180. Crazy.
Wow.
But
don't leave out them extra 20. He had time on his hands.
So what's next though? What's next? Do we protested? We've what's next? Do we now gird ourselves up against a full war? What do we do? What's next?
Sadly, like it was said earlier, like Mr. Derek said earlier, we're outnumbered. We're 14% of the population.
So
and if we were to try to do something, of course they're gonna try to squash that quick.
Yeah.
It also depends on who's in power at the top of the government. Because if we were to arm ourselves, J. Edgar Hoover said, this is why they shut down the Black Panthers. If the Black community was to get together, that would be the greatest threat to American national security. Because they know how powerful our dollar is. They know how powerful we can be. And they know if we were to unify and form out, that's why when we had our own communities, they tried to destroy them.
Well, they didn't try.
Well, they destroyed them.
They didn't try. Yeah. They completely
destroyed them.
So yeah.
So
James says, "Are we really 14%? That's what they tell us. Remember the Million Man March? They told us hundreds of thousands came, but not millions, but not a million. Are we really 14% of the population? Are we?
I would think because we're not as much as them, as many as them.
Right. So, Tremont, Derek, Quinn, I want to ask you guys: do you believe in allies?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe in allies.
Okay. A lot of folk don't believe in allies. They feel they don't trust anybody.
Want me to tell you why I believe in allies?
Yeah.
On my grandfather's side, my great grandmother is a white woman. My great grandfather, blacker than his hoodie. In the Mississippi Delta in Marsville, Mississippi,
Mhm.
they lived and had 9 children. 9. How it worked in the Mississippi Delta, that's beyond me. They had to have some type of allies though.
Okay.
And that I'm a product of that. I do have some people of the Caucasian race that had helped me along in life,
Okay.
giving me great advice, have stood up for me, and have put me in positions that my own people wouldn't have put me in.
Okay.
So I do believe in allies. Everybody in that race is not our enemy.
Agreed.
I, I
Oh, Mr. Derek, go ahead.
I would say I definitely agree with him. I've had white people in my past who, I mean, they've looked out for me, really looked out for me, really done great things for me.
Mhm.
And when I think about allies, it's like, yeah, it's good to have somebody to help you, but we got to get solid on what it is that we're trying to do first. Otherwise, no
There you
help
go.
is going to help us.
Yeah. Nothing is going to help us. You're right about that. And it just blows me away that with this Buffalo shooting, I was like, man, are we really going through this again? I mean, but why is he able to get arrested without a scratch on him? But when you think back to Mike Brown, uh, well, before even Trayvon, what's my Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, unarmed, George Floyd, of course. And we always end up there. I think James said it in one of the comments. We always end up dead, but they get to walk around scot free, get Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts and everything. I don't understand it. But here's my question, because we talked about the Second Amendment. You said in the beginning at the top of the show, Quinn. Now I live in Missouri, and our gun laws here, or we can open carry without any kind of class or anything like that. As a black man who has weapons, I'm afraid to carry here, even though it's an open carry state. But I'm afraid to carry here.
Because you'll
Is that
be
wrong?
instantly seen as a threat. No,
Exactly.
you're adapting to your situation and your environment. Because we know that if I was to walk around in Mississippi that is also open carry with a semi-automatic rifle strapped across my chest, I'm instantly getting a bunch of cars pulled up on me with flashing lights and they jumping out with guns pulled.
But why is that? Derek, what's the laws in Texas? That's where you at, right? Texas.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have open carry too.
Yeah, we open carry here.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I'm afraid. I have a brand new shiny 9mm. I just want to walk around here. I got a holster and everything. Boy, I'm big balling, right? But I won't carry it. It's in my car, but I won't carry it. And that shouldn't be a thing, right? Because we all have the right to carry, right? So I shouldn't be afraid, right?
Shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to be. But we know that if we are seen and somebody automatically says that they feel threatened, that the SWAT team showing up.
Sure. That's true.
And we're going to hear those commands, get on the ground, I got pulled over, didn't know I had a suspended license. If anybody knows me, I've had a lot of health issues.
Me too.
I had a lot of health issues. I have completely lost a lot of function in my legs. These people literally wanted me to get on the ground. I couldn't just drop to my knees and get on the ground. I was trying to literally just get on the ground as best as I could. He came over there and forced me down. I don't have a gun or anything.
Right.
I got guns, but I don't keep them in the car or anything. They locked up at home here in my house, but forced me down to the ground. I'm like, over a suspended license that I didn't even know was suspended. And at the time, this was like 13 years ago. I'm like, why? Why? Then I had to realize, duh, you further down south, you ain't in the Delta no more.
Yeah.
Where everybody know you.
Yeah.
you in white people country now.
Tremont, do you carry?
Yeah, I do. The thing is, I mean, just kind of looking at it, the problem is more deeper than what we realize. You know, this is systematic. You know, it's is is right down to the core. And the thing is, you know, even when you look back, you know, in the '60s, the cry was jobs and justice. Be your man March, jobs and justice. We in 2022, and our cry still is jobs and justice. So it's just like, you know, when we gonna and understand that, you know, until we can, you know, make a change, we got to get down to the core. You know, the police department, you know, back in slavery time was built, you know, to catch slaves, you know, and until, you know, and people always talking about, you know, defund the police. It ain't about defunding the police. If you could defund the police union, you know, then that's when you start hurting some people, when you start hurting them pockets, you know. So like I said, the problem is systematic, and I think, you know, until we realize that, you know, things aren't going to change. Have we come a long way? Yeah, we've come a little, you know, but we still have a long way to go.
Mr. Derek, what do you think?
I think I never trust laws like that. I never trust them because here's the problem. Whoever it is that you put in their uniform, they don't become somebody new once they put a uniform on.
Mm,
What
mm,
happens is you empower whatever character attitude they have. So
Right.
if they are racist, you just empowered the
Howard
racist.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And you never know who or what's in that uniform. We're taught to
They
trust
say.
the uniform. But until you change what actually goes in that uniform, I can't just inherently trust the uniform.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
And
shoot, that's crazy.
that goes for some of our people also. Trust me, I know some. You put a person that's been crooked all their life in that uniform and empower them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that crookedness ain't going nowhere.
So elevate. No, it's not. And you know, where I live here in Columbia, there are a lot of. I think the force is 90-10, white to black. Right. If I can even remember seeing a black cop here in Columbia. Anyway, I'm with Mr. Smith. I'm with you. I don't trust it. I don't trust the law. I don't. I mean, people, you know, they have worked for me when I got my car stolen. You know, they came by here, and you know, and those of you that don't know, my wife is Caucasian, right? So they came by here, and it was all, well, we're gonna get da-da-da," and they were fine, right? But for some reason, I feel like if that same cop would have stopped me by myself, it'll be a whole different story. And that's what and as a grown man at 47 years old, I shouldn't be afraid like that, but I am, and that's just transparent of it all.
And the thing is, when he seen your wife was white, it
Mhm.
probably disgusted him. He just didn't say it out of his mouth. He probably didn't show it by his personality, his persona, but in his mind, he was probably disgusted.
Probably.
Well, I have to say, because it may not have been him. He might have been fine with it.
Hmm.
But who knows who will have the problem with it.
Right.
Who says that's going to be the same person you run into an encounter every time? And that's what I'm saying. You don't know what you're actually going to get. We were taught in school growing up, the good guy wears white, the bad guy wears black, and the whole nine. But evil is not that distinctive. Matter of fact, evil camouflages as good all the time until the right opportune time comes. So when they pass laws like this, then everybody, depending on what side of the aisle you sit on, it's a good thing. But for the other side, it's like, man, you just giving people a license to do something bad to somebody.
Correct. And before we switch gears, because that's another thing I want to do in the second half of the show. Like I said, I'm with Quinn. Condolences to every member or every person that lost their life in Buffalo, the families that are affected, Tops, everybody. I can only imagine. But there was a video that surfaced. I'm not sure if one of you guys saw. As he was going through and shooting people, he knocked the Caucasian man down. He helped the Caucasian man up, and then moved him, and went back to shooting black people.
Said sorry.
Sorry. I'm like, what kind of? Where's the humanity? Like, where's this boy's parents? I mean, I don't. Somebody knew something. But
they said they didn't know what was going on with him. They say, they covered themselves greatly.
It's just like the other little kid that the other young man that shot the school up, and his parents knew that they went and picked him up from school, took him home, and he went back and shot the whole darn school up. They knew he was going to shoot. I don't understand it. I just don't. So we're gonna switch gears real quick. None. Thank you, LA. So don't switch gears. All right, so what I want to get into now, and this is kind of the silly part of the show, right? But you know what chaps my hide? Cultural appropriation. I hate when people use our stuff. I hate it, right? So let me run this, and I'm going to ask you guys a question after I run it. Wait, I'm not done. Wait, I got one more for you. Wait. Here you go.
Everybody's getting down in this town. Ain't never gonna be the same.
Okay, that's enough of that. I can't anymore. Now, haven't seen those two.
Oh wow.
Haven't seen those two videos. I want to get one female, one sorority, and one fraternity in here. What do you think? First of all, what do you think about it? What do you think about it, man? When you see that on video and social media, what do you think? What do you see? I'll say.
So, as you can see behind me, I have anime behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan ever since I lived in Japan when I was a kid. I have Japanese clothing. I'm into manga, anime, even learning Japanese, So for me, that was weird. But I would be if I said that I had a real problem with it. Was weird to me to see it, just like if somebody saw me in a kimono, not a kimono, but if somebody seen me and Japanese clothing, they probably be like, "Hey, yo, that's weird," But because if I was to say something about that, it would be hypocritical of me.
Mr. Derek?
There should be a rhythm requirement for stuff like this, man. There should be a rhythm requirement. Now they say imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine. I don't mind that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. It's just the way things are in this nation. You can't just do stuff like that, man. You can't.
I mean, I feel like with the sorority, with the Greek organizations, it's kind of like a taboo because they really just don't play about their stuff at all. But I mean, like I said, I hate hypocrisy, so I can't say anything negative about what they did. But you do have to. I'm with Derek. You gotta have a rhythm. Like you almost got to be Justin Timberlake par with dancing if this is what you're gonna do.
Right.
Trayvon, what do you think when you said? I'm curious now. I'll give you my opinion in a minute.
The whole Greek organization thing, that's I don't want to say it's a world up in itself, but like I couldn't, walk out here, throwing bowls or throwing the cooks if I'm not a part of the organization. So I mean it's just protocol with that, as a whole anyway, so and you saw the whole debacle with Lil Boosie when he had on the Kappa stuff, and that was just a whole debacle in itself because, like I said, if you're not part of the organization, then
the whole debacle with was Issa Rae show with the AKAs getting mad that the girl had on his sweater in the show.
See, I don't know. See, here's my opinion. You ready? I think it's a freaking mockery. I think they're making a mockery of us. And it pisses me off when I see it. Every time I see it, it pisses me off. When I see there was a choir up in London, and it was all white choir, and they were singing Lauryn Hill's "Throughout That Thing." Now, and one of those lines, they were talking about men, baby daddies, money, this and that. You ain't got that wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. What are you singing about Lauryn Hill for? I get it. You're a Lauryn Hill fan. I get it. But don't do that. When I see this, it makes me mad because what Darius said, the first thing Darius said, it needs to be a rhythm requirement, right? You don't have no rhythm. You don't listen. Stepping, according to this Essence article that I was reading before we went live, stepping has a long tradition in African and Black American communities. Was origins in the Black community, stepping has spread to Latino, Asian cultures, to multicultural fraternities and sororities as well. There isn't a specific origin date, but the start of stepping dates back to Africa. But you want to shoot us and kill us and you hate us.
The boot dance.
Listen to
boot dance, yeah.
Man. To me, it's another example of they want our rhythm, but not our blues. And I hate it. I hate it. And it drives me absolutely insane. And I'm like, who okayed this? Like, who okayed this? Who said, like the sorority, the first one? Who said it was okay for them to do that? Like, who choreographed that whole step? I need to know so we can go ahead and sue them or something. That ain't right.
Somebody need to pay. Somebody need to pay.
Somebody got to pay for that. I need reparations in my pocket behind now.
I mean, even with it goes back like so far, like even with the music back in the day, you'll have Ray Charles drop a song and they looking for a white artist that can do a white version of the song Ray Charles just did.
Yeah, whitewash.
They whitewash it. I mean, even who was it? Bo Derek on the cover of the magazine with the braids.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and it's been going on for years that they really tried to co-opt and take rock and roll was our thing.
Right. We just started that. Sure did.
That was they want to dub Elvis the king of rock and roll, but the king of rock and roll was Little Richard.
Little Richard. Mm-hmm.
Country music was our thing. Bluegrass was our thing. That was us. It's been co-opted. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people hate that Eminem is who he is, but a lot of people wasn't feeling Eminem because he was white. I love hip hop. Got bars. I'm not gonna take that from him at all. As far as I knew, I didn't even take his color into consideration because he was spitting.
Oh, he cold. Yeah, he cold.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just that if you're gonna appropriate it, do it right.
Please.
I'm gonna tell you something that bothers me, and it has always bothered me, is in church. You get a white man, a white woman come in, and they sing it like we sing it,
right?
And people go crazy,
right?
They lose their mind.
Now,
if that's your experience, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is something you learn, I would rather you sing, more like what contemporary Christian or something. I can deal with that.
You're right.
But it's how we act and how we react to people. They come in and they sing it like us.
You're right.
Have you seen the Asians? The Asians, I forgot. I don't know if it's Korean.
No.
Where
it's Asian
choirs that sing like black gospel.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like that's not who you are, though.
So let me ask y'all this: you got Anderson .Paak, you got Bruno Mars, you got her. A lot of black people aren't recognizing them as black people because they relate to their Filipino sides. So how do y'all feel about multicultural people? Do you think they are appropriating? Because I don't care what you say, Bruno can blow.
Yeah.
Her look like a whole black woman to me. I didn't even know she black and Filipino. Bruno Mars is not black at all.
Got me on that one. I thought you were black. Okay.
Bruno Mars is not black at all. Anderson .Paak is black, and girl Sweetie is black Filipino.
Oh. Talk me something. I didn't know that.
I know that.
Yeah, but Bruno Mars is not black at all.
Is he Polynesian or
he's Polynesian and Filipino?
Okay.
Bruno?
Yeah, Bruno.
I don't.
You would have never known it though.
Had you right? To answer your question, I don't find it with other people of color. I don't think it's appropriation with them. I think that when I call it a complete mockery when it's someone who has no affiliation to our community, no affiliation to what we've been through, none of it, and they're trying to do it our way. Then I think that's appropriation right there, right? And just like they had this whole trend on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. They had this whole trend about the Tupac song, "The Black of the Berry, the Sweet of the Juice," that one, right?
Oh,
is that Dear Mama?
Oh yeah.
Dear Mama? Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of white people, white women, that was using that sound and appropriating that sound, right? When that sound had nothing, and the line that they was using was for the black, it was specifically for black people. The first line of that song said, "The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice." How are you trying to, how you gonna colonize that? Really? And they had a whole argument on TikTok. I mean, it tore TikTok apart. People was so upset, talk about they tried to do the whole all lives matter thing on this Tupac song. You can't, because Tupac didn't fool with y'all like that. And if you know in history, you knew that.
I don't know now. Him and Madonna had a thing.
Man, listen, he didn't care for them people. Tupac told it like it was, and he meant it. But now it's a whole. I just don't get. I don't like appropriation from people that have no recollection. They don't know what it's like to have a syrup sandwich. They don't know what it's like to have a ketchup sandwich when you know. They don't know nothing about that. Nope. They don't know nothing about being discriminated against, looked down upon. They don't know nothing about that. Some of these people walk around and still don't believe white privilege exists. Now, I'm a firm believer that white privilege exists. Y'all believe it?
I believe it. I'm gonna tell you something that I told a coworker of mine, and he was talking about doing the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
No.
I said in our community, I said, yeah, it's some of us that were born into privilege, but the majority of us, we have to go and plant the rubber tree. We got to go and buy the cow, breed the cow so we can have more cows to have at least tan one so that we can make the leather. We got to wait for the rubber plant to grow so we can make the soles. Then we got to go and pick the cotton or the nylon or whatnot to make the strings just so we can make the boots to put on to pull ourselves up by our bootstrap. At least you got the boots when you're born.
Yep. They know nothing of the struggle. And then they want to colonize. There's a guy on TikTok. I keep referring back to TikTok because that's where I get all my sources from. But there's a guy on TikTok, and he starts every video with "Hey colonizer." Every video, and them people, that thing make them people mad. Boy, they don't like that. They don't like being called colonizers because they don't want to recognize it.
I mean, just think about it. Most of them are white people are it ain't most of them, is all of them are of a European descent. So the people you are colonizers because if you are not of Native American heritage here in America and you weren't brought over here, then you are a colonizer because y'all want to secure the border, but y'all took them folks' land.
Yeah.
Like the Mexicans, guess what? This was their land. They were the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
No,
took
it's
it.
like, come on, let's just keep it funky. Like y'all trying to say
Modern war heroes.
Y'all trying to say they stealing from you. No, y'all stole from them
That's
first.
stuff from them. Yeah. They be wilding, man.
Y'all worry
Very
about pipelines, but guess what? Like, yeah, gas higher than who? I can't even think of a good term, but it's high. But those Native Americans, the land that y'all did grant them, y'all trying to take it to run oil now.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, come on, man. Like it's
That's
all
crazy.
about colonization. It's all about selfishness. It's all about taking.
Yeah.
You know, as much as people talk about racism, honestly, I believe racism is this little toy that they get us to play with to keep us occupied. The main issue is resources.
Mm.
And it's all about who has the corner on the resources.
Yeah.
And nobody is ever going to say, you know what, we've enjoyed the resources long enough. You know what, we need to share with everybody else. Who is going to do that? Nobody would do that.
Not so.
And that's what we keep waiting on.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they say, you know, talk about the bootstraps deal, but every effort of us and we started doing that, it was met with violence. You know, once the pandemic hit and everybody started finding out about all of these settlements and all these Black communities that were destroyed, where the community was thriving, the community was coming together, and the community was self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You got Rosewood, you got Tulsa, you got even there was a settlement where Central Park is now.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Lanier, where they flooded a whole settlement, and there now it's a lake now.
What it was like about 10 towns that was where Lake Lanier is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's just we've always had the capacity to do it. I would say then, because I think the resolve was a lot different than it is now. We got too much infighting in the community now.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to duplicate that now because of how, you know, you got men against women, you got women against men, you got all this type of stuff that's going on now. It would be hard to duplicate that now. But back then, they
Even boycotting.
yeah.
Like, if you really want to make something change, hurt their pocketbooks. Don't shop here. Don't do this. Don't spend your money such and such. Don't do that. Don't. If you want the gas prices to go down, which is hard to tell somebody to do, but don't buy the gas.
You know what?
It's not gonna happen because
No, I just said
people look at it's my survival versus the struggle. So do I want to just struggle, or do I want to make sure that I can get to work every day? Do I want to make sure that I can go and buy groceries every day, no matter how high it gets?
you know what? You know why I don't think that the boycotts of these different corporations would work is because we won't support each other. So there's no point. You know what I'm saying? It's you might as well go and get that Tommy Hilfiger shirt because you're not going to buy the local black owned brand down here. Why? Because they won't give you a hookup. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
because we don't want to support each other. We have the crab in the barrel. But then
Yeah.
you mad about the other thing. No, you can't do that. It's like Derek saying, he was alluding to earlier. We have to get we're us. At the end of the day, we can go back and forth about it, but at the end of the day, it's us. We have to change us and what we think and what we do, right?
Yeah. I think it was Jay-Z that said, you know, they call us crabs in a barrel, but it's like nobody's asking the question, what are crabs doing in a barrel to begin with?
And right,
They have no business being in the barrel.
That's not their original domain.
That's
Somebody
right.
had to put them in the barrel.
somebody put them in
Right.
there.
They shouldn't be there in the first place. And I
Right.
remember there's this entrepreneur in South Africa. He's a black African guy in South Africa. And he was talking about apartheid to a group of young black people.
Mm.
And he said the goal of apartheid was not to convince us that whites were better. He said the goal of apartheid was to convince us that none amongst us was good enough.
Mm.
Whenever we start something new, we question the quality of it.
Mhm.
Because it's like we can't produce something of quality ourselves. And then in turn with that, like you said, the hookup, you should give your brother double honor. If he charge you 100, pay him 150.
Mhm.
That's the mentality that other communities have, and it keeps them going. But
Right.
we don't even have that type of mentality, so we can't
No.
even get started in that path. And let me say one more thing. Everybody's talking about who's leading the black community. They say women are leading the black community, men should be leading. Guess what? There is nobody leading the black community right now because there is no concerted effort to do anything in this country regarding the black community at this point right now. There is no collective understanding that we have. So we have no leaders.
Right.
That's because you getting money and you know what I'm saying, you got a high paying position or something at your job does not mean that you're leading the black community.
That's right.
It's not the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. This racism discussion can go on for days and days and months and years and weeks and things of that nature. It's just until we change us, though. Like Draymond said, how do you get? Derek said, how we get in that barrel in the first place? I've always wondered that.
We know how we got in the barrel.
Who put us there?
Systematic oppression put us in the barrel.
Okay, something that we didn't create. Got it.
The school to prison pipeline put us in the barrel. The struggle of breaking up the black family back in the 60s and 70s put us in the barrel.
I tell you, I don't know. But I tell you what, though, I want to thank everybody for coming through, playing and watching us today. Derek and Tremont, my two guest hosts, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate you. Mr. Smith, tell the folks how they can reach you. Kevin Peoples, how you in the comment section?
Well, you can catch me Overcomers Empowerment Ministries every Sunday at 10 a.m. on the BS3 network, BS3 TV. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, and also Monday nights at 7 p.m. Man Talk Mondays. Me and my co-host John Big Yogi Lewis. We
Yo.
we do it for the people, for the men, on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central.
If y'all guys ain't never caught an episode of Man Talk Monday, you need to jump on one for real, like legit. Like I was in there one Monday, and I was just rolling from beginning to end. Just check it out. Tremon, how the folks reach you, man?
You can actually on all forms of social media. We have a podcast, me and my co-host Ernest, the Cigar Chronicles, where we basically just have an open barbecue about politics. So you can catch us on there Wednesdays at 8:30.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And the always tardy Kevin Peoples. What's up, man?
Hey man, good show, fellas.
You shouldn't even got on the camera.
I was gonna ask that he don't add me. I didn't mean to click the button.
You shouldn't even click the button. You should have just stayed on Facebook.
You made
you're doing too much right now. But
I ain't
yeah,
doing
I was
too much.
having some technical issues, fellas.
This
I
is
do
you see this
apologize.
face.
My
This is the
bad.
face of
My
disappointment.
bad, y'all.
That's
I
okay.
do apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not usually tardy. Terry knows me better than that. So
I do. That's why I was surprised. I was like, this ain't right.
Yeah,
But anyway,
face hated me today.
thank you guys for coming through. I really appreciate you. My son is walking through here somewhere. Come here, boy. Come here. Say hey to the people. You look sleepy. Come say hey real quick. There we go. Say hey to the people. All right. Go ahead and get out of here. We're going to get out of here, you
He
guys.
ain't going. He ain't not
Join me on Tuesdays. I'm doing an interview, Voiceless to Victorious with Marcy Batiste on Tuesday on Blog Talk Radio. We're talking about autism and the diagnosis and how I handled it and all that. So it's going to be a great episode because I'll be honest with you. My son's 5 and I still haven't really got a full grasp of it yet. But you have to check out the show on Tuesday live on Blog Talk Radio. All right. But we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Mm-hmm.